What's going on, guys? Welcome back to No Impulse Control. Sorry, that was. Hey, how's it going? I'm Justin.
Jasmine.
So, yeah.
What an odd start to today.
Well,
Yeah.
it is a podcast called No Impulse Control, so
Yeah, you're right. Fair enough. All right, carry on. Also, it's
carry
just
on.
soda, guys. Not like drinking illicit materials on the podcast.
That'd be crazy.
That would be crazy. How are you doing today, Justin?
I'm okay.
Yeah.
Um, it's just the week back from break, so it's a little bit of a slog. Feels like I've been
Good
like,
vocab word, by the way.
you like that? You like that?
I did.
Feels like I've been at work for 6 weeks and it's only been 3 days.
Yeah, I would agree with that. Um, so I just wanted to share about my kids because they had a day yesterday. All was well, by the way. They went to gym class. Gym class was fine. They came back in from gym at like 1:10ish and we're watching the Who Was It show. Like you know those books, the like who were they? It's like Abraham Lincoln
Mhm,
and it's the giant head. You know the books I'm talking about, right?
mhm.
So they have a TV series now of on Netflix of the exact same thing and it's really cool and it like really does like it's all kid actors. It's a really nicely set up program, right?
Mhm.
So we're watching it, and we watched it Monday, and it had fart jokes. And I was like, haha, it's so funny. And everyone laughed. Chuckle, chuckle, you know. Apparently, yesterday, they came in from gym. They watched their show. They were like highly inappropriate and just being generally jerks. Now, I'm not in
Oh,
the room. I want this. Hold on. I have got to fix my headphones. Um, I can no longer hear you. Okay. I braided my hair, everybody, and for those of you who can't see me, pieces came out because I was cooking and fervently moving, and they were pissing me off. So anyway, I guess long story short, um, they watched the show. They were inappropriate. They got reminders. Show ended. They're doing clicks for the end of the day, which is like our end of day whatever, and they got calendars passed out to them. Because it's almost May, and so we passed out like the lunch calendars and told them to put them in their backpacks.
mhm.
And I guess they saw that we had no school on Memorial Day. So they were like, why don't we have school? What's a Memorial Day? So one of our teachers explained, like, oh, Memorial Day is a day that we remember those people in our lives that have passed away.
Yeah.
Just like a generalized whatever. And she, and he, sorry, the student, got really mad about this for some reason and was like,
About
well,
Memorial Day?
I guess so. And he started like a coup in my classroom about it because he was like, well, that's stupid. I'm not going to celebrate. And we were like, you don't have to celebrate Memorial. Like, you just have the day off school. Um,
Yeah.
it's not like a,
It's not that deep, as my kids like
well,
to say.
yeah, it really isn't. And then he got two other kids going and they were really mad about not having school, which, like, I guess I love that they want to be there, but like, okay.
Oh,
Back in my day, we respected days off, okay? Um,
we still do.
yeah, well, yeah. And uh, they got really pissy, and I guess from what I was told, they like crumpled up their menus and they shoved them in their backpack, and they were like being really upset about Memorial Day. And my staff were like, "Why are we upset about this?" Um, and then they were just jerks the rest of the afternoon. So like I came in, I'm like, "Hey guys, meeting went great. Why are we all looking like that?" Because the kids left by the time I got back from my meeting. But anyway, it was just it was weird, Like it's one of those things that like when you're the normal teacher in the room and you like see them and you're like, huh, that's weird, and you can address. And not that my staff did, for the record, anything wrong. They handled it
Right.
exactly the way I would have handled it. But it's a routine that's different, and the kids aren't used to me not being there at that time. Even
Yeah.
though I leave for meetings all the time, it's not like abnormal. They just sometimes can't handle that change. So
But
anyway,
like about Memorial Day is crazy
I
to me.
know. I was like, I could understand it if it was like, hey guys, so we're gonna go remote tomorrow. Like that, sure. Be
Yeah.
pissed off. I'm with you there. Memorial Day is an odd one.
Yeah,
Um,
because that's a normal. Like that's not even out of
that's an
like
every year
left
thing.
field.
It's not
Every
new.
year it's that way.
We, we have that Monday off every year without fail.
That's wild.
And then this morning, I also had a meeting because why wouldn't I? Um, during math time, and I'm still in the room. Like I'm actively leaving, right? Like I'm picking up all my stuff to go to this IEP.
Yeah.
And I told one of my staff, Chris, I was like, hey, so I want them to do these 4 worksheets if they finish, which they won't. But if they finish before 9 o'clock, they can go on IXL. I've assigned them 2 things to help them practice. You know, if they need help, whatever, just put it on the board. It's not something that we've done together much, but I've seen them do it. They kind of know it was lines of symmetry, lines raised in segments, like all those things that we don't practice every day, but they have seen it before, you know? And I
Mm.
guess they all forgot how to behave like a like human children.
Yeah.
So we got we passed all the stuff out, and I said, all right, so I gotta head to my meeting. Y'all be good, don't make bad choices, like handle yourselves. Goodbye, love you all. Mr. Howe, turn it over to you. So he said, okay guys, so we're gonna need our pencils, and I quote, I am going to pass out the worksheet. Read the questions first and the directions first. Then, if you have questions, raise your hand. What are we doing? So I'm still in the room. Like, I'm not even joking with that speed. I'm still in the room, and I turned around, and it's important to me that you see how I turned around. So I'm like at the table getting my drink ready, and I went, and I wasn't sitting, I was standing. So imagine my body
Yeah.
fully turning. And I stared at my room, and I said, I told you all at morning meeting what we were doing. Mr. Howe just told you what we were doing. What were you guys hearing? And then one of the kids goes, I don't know, I wasn't listening. I guess you're gonna have to read the instructions there, bucko. I guess you're gonna have to figure it out. I'm I'm over the questions right now. Miss Kirkins
So
is in a bad mood and is over
no, I'm with you
questions.
because that is literally the worst thing that my students like. My students do a lot of dumb things, but that's like one of the things that like
Bothers me the most.
bothers me the most. And like it's not like bothers me like I'm gonna crash out, but it's like, are you dumb?
No, but I might crash out. I'm very close to crashing out because what do you mean, what are we doing? I just fucking told you it's on the board, it's on the paper in front of you. We went over it 40 times. Like, you asked me questions. What do you mean, what are we doing?
I write it on my board what the plan for the day is.
Mm
I literally have it up on my
hmm. Mm
board.
hmm.
You know, we have this slideshow, this homework.
Mm hmm.
Boom. I consistently, and it's the same class, by the way, same kids. I consistently get, what are we doing today? Day one, I told you it's on the board. Look. You walk by it when you walk in my room. Look.
You
Use
know
your
what?
eyeball.
You know what I noticed they don't do that with, Justin? Video games. Because we get new games in class all the time, like new video games for the TV or whatever. And they never have an issue with that. They just wait for the instructions. And when we get
They,
new
they,
iPad things or like we're on Minecraft, they're trying something new, they just figure it out.
hmm
It's weird how they can do that.
Yeah, well, you know, if we were digital, I bet we'd be better.
No,
We'd be better
I
teachers.
argue that we would not be because I've done remote with these kids.
No, no, no. We're not remote. We're digital. We're actually in the computer as the teacher in the computer, setting it all up,
Part
that
of
kind of thing.
me just thinks it's because there's an adult and they just want the adult to do it for them. And
Probably.
I don't I don't know.
That is
Anyway,
honestly like as a teacher, that's one of the
yeah.
things that I hate the most. As a potential future parent someday down the road, maybe I would hate
Mhm.
if my students' teachers
We're dealing
helped
with that.
them No, I helped them learn helplessness.
Oh, I'd be swinging. Yeah.
I'd be mad. I'd be so mad if you did it for my kid, why are you doing that?
Yeah.
Stop.
Well,
They are smart enough to do it.
one of the things that I notice happens a lot is it's like I don't want them to be frustrated, which I get. Like for the record, it's
Yeah.
generally done with a good heart.
Yeah.
That being said, sometimes your heart is stupid and like just think about it though, you know? Like
Use your brain, not your heart.
just this muscle up here, it's got to work out sometimes too, you know?
Yeah.
Because there's a lot of times, and I know that I definitely used to do it in student teaching a lot because I hate kids being frustrated. And then I learned about this really cool thing called frustration tolerance, and like, oh yeah, that's how we all have to learn.
And critical thinking.
And critical thinking. And like, you never learn how to do anything if the second that it becomes frustrating, you can just have it done for you. Because your frustration tolerance goes down, right? So like this math assignment is really hard. And thank God I had Patricia because that woman um stuck through me through some very aggravating assignments. But like subtraction has never been my thing. But if the second that subtraction got hard, my mom just said, "Oh, it's 10." I would never learn like the process of it. I would never learn
No,
any of
yeah.
the things, right? Like she would have to sit with me and be like, "Okay, so if I have 20 marbles and I take 10 of them away, how many do I have left? I don't know." Like I would scream cry at the table. But you know what I can do now? I can do mental subtraction.
Right.
And it
Even
like
speaking for somebody who struggles with that now as an adult, I still had to learn it.
you
I'd
have to
probably
learn it.
if I was telling Darcy this the other day. If I were in school now,
I'd be
I would
so
have a
mad at
five.
everybody.
I would no, I would have a 504. I
Yeah.
would definitely have a plan.
You'd probably have an IEP actually, but yeah.
Either way, I'd have a plan.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah,
but I never had that in school.
you would probably have special ed services. Both of us would.
Yeah. And
And you know
not like
what?
mine.
Oh, sorry, keep going.
I'm glad I didn't. Like, I'll say that. I'm glad I didn't have the services.
Yeah.
Think it made it harder for me, but I think it also proved to me that I can do it and that I needed to try and like all of those things that I'm not blaming the plans. I want that
Yeah.
to be clear.
No, no, I know.
But I think that since because of how the educational system is and we have so many plans and we have to have equal or
Equity.
equity in our classes and all that kind of stuff, we now have kids who they're not needing this support,
Mm-hmm.
but they're getting the support
Uh-huh.
because
It's on their
a
plan.
kid in the class has it, which is fine, whatever, teach it that way,
Oh, I
whatever.
see. Yes, I'm understand. Yes. Okay. Yep.
But they don't need it.
Yeah. We
And
have
when
a
they see the other kid
That's
getting
not
it,
fair. Why can't I have that?
exactly.
The thing that we do with my kids is, and it doesn't obviously work with everybody, but is every kid gets what they need. So like we do special plans, right? So like sometimes kids need a little extra support with XYZ thing. Like I had a student a couple years ago who is about to be a high schooler, kind of want to makes me puke because I've had her since 5th grade and like, oh my god.
Hmm.
That's just it's insane to me. So anyway, she's about to be in high school. She's a great kid. I love her right to death. A lot of ADHD. So she was one of those kids that would be like, Miss Crickets, I have a question, and then the hand would go up as she's already asking the question,
Hmm.
and I'd have to be like, hey, homie, so you have to raise it and then wait to be called on because I was already talking, so I didn't hear your question, and now you're mad at me because I said, okay, what's up?
Hmm.
Do you see how we could have solved this issue real easy by just like, or writing it down, or looking at the instructions? But regardless, anyway, she had a plan in my room that every time she raised her hand and didn't blurt, she earned like a card or something at this specific time. It was an incentive program, essentially.
Yeah.
Another one of my kids didn't blurt, didn't have the issue with blurting, didn't need that plan, was pissed because she was getting extra cards. And I said, no, she's getting the cards because now I gotta explain the money system, but we do clicks, which is like a direct feedback. You earned a 5, that's 5 clicks on this card. If you get 8 clicks on a card, that card goes in for store and you can buy things with it, right? Like it's worth
Hmm.
$1 per se. She was not making as many cards because she was getting 2s and 3s, which means like you were not doing your work, you were misbehaving, whatever, right? So this isn't her getting more cards than you. It's her getting the cards she should be getting
Right.
because she can't do that skill yet. You have that skill mastered. I'd like you to stop biting people. Let's work on that. And then like so it's that everybody gets what they need thing, not what they want. Um and I like it, no matter how many times you say that, it still becomes a thing of it's not fair. And they're 10.
Yeah.
They're always going to think everything's not fair. But sometimes in special ed, listen, special educators, if you're listening, I got a bone to pick with us. Sometimes we so over help because we want to make sure that kiddos in special ed are getting all of the same opportunities as their general education peers, which I love. That is not the issue. You doing everything for them so that they can do everything with their peers, don't love. Because if
Yeah.
little Johnny is just simply not safe enough to be with his peers, stop making it seem like he is.
Stop pushing him into the classroom.
Stop pushing
As
him
a as
in.
a as a gen ed teacher here,
Stop.
please don't send a kid who's not able to sit with his
Like
peers
I just
or be
and
in with his peers.
it is always good, right? Like I never want to say kids should not be in the public school education because one, love a public school education. I'm a public school educated child. I believe in the system. I think that currently our public school education sucks bull titties, but
It's an interesting one.
thank you. But I do think that like it's important, free
Yeah.
public education. I also know from because I work exclusively special ed in this. It's not even like I don't just work special ed in a gen ed school. I work only special ed kids, like it's a
Right.
private program. My biggest goal is to get them back to public school
Mhm.
or to wherever their sending district is. I want them with their peers. I want them with peers who are normative and not normative as in like they have some above, some below, like, a public school setting,
Yeah.
right? Not until they're ready.
Right.
And I can't send them back and know and feel good that they're ready if everybody in my room is doing everything for them. It's like that it's like that I don't you've probably seen the educational poster. You guys might not have. But it's like this little like pair of scissors. It's like a little rainbow background that says when you cut for me, you draw for me, you write for me, you read for me. All you're really telling me is that I'm not good enough to do it. And at first I saw that and I was like, no, I'm saying you need help with it. And then I realized I was like, no, actually, yeah. Because I'm also teaching you that you don't have to do it. But
That's where my brain went.
yeah,
Was you
like,
don't
and
have.
you don't have to do it. And some kids, yeah, absolutely. It's a, "Oh, yes, Miss Corkins is going to do it for me. But other kids, it's like, they're never going to learn that frustration tolerance. So they're never going to be able to do it. But Miss Corkins could just do it like that. And this kid can just do it like that. I'm never going to be good enough because I can't cut a straight line. Brother, none of us can. You're fine. Like, but anyway,
I got two things.
I just spieled a
One,
lot. My head hurts. You go.
you're okay. One, uh, have you ever had? I know you have. Have you ever had a kid call you a jackass or
I
other
did have a
names?
kid call me a slut recently.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. Yeah. I don't know about you, but in school, I would not have even thought about
No,
calling a teacher
no,
any
because I knew
negative
that
term.
mom would be on the phone pretty quick. Like Miss,
Yeah.
like I'm trying to think about like my teachers that I disliked. Probably Miss Yancey would be the only one, and I actually did like her. She was just strict. Miss Yancey would have been on the phone staring me down, going, "Patricia, yeah, so Jasmine just called me a jackass."
Yeah. Yeah, I got that today. And it wasn't even
That's
like it was
crazy.
in the middle of a conversation. This
Also,
kid's
what a
complaining
wild
about
thing
he
to
just
call somebody.
oh, crazy. His kid's complaining about how he lost some money, and I was like, "Well, when was the last time you saw like your wallet? Like, did you have it in your pocket?" Like, I was
Yeah,
asking him
yeah, yeah.
questions, and he goes, "Of course I had it in my pocket. What do you think?" Like, oh my! And he turned to his friend. He's like, "This friggin' jackass!" And I was like, "Come here." I was like, "You can't call a teacher that. It's not okay." Like, and I lit him up a little bit, and he's like, "I know, it's my bad, my bad." And I was like, "Look at me," because he was like doing one of these things of
Mm-hmm.
not looking. I said, "Look at me in the eyes. I'm trying to have a conversation." And like, I lit him up. I was so
Mm-hmm.
mad over, like, yeah, it's not a big deal, realistically, in the grand scheme of things, of him calling me
But
that.
it
But
is.
if you start, it is. There is
Like,
a respect element that students don't know. Like,
Calm down there. You're
fucking
strangling
not
your
only
microphone.
sorry, not only do, like, not all districts, but a lot of the districts in the state of Maine
Yeah.
don't stop that. They
No.
don't do anything about it.
No.
And then when they do, the parents push back.
Yeah.
It's okay at home if whatever you want to do at home, do at home.
Honestly,
I think it's stupid, but do at home.
do it at home because you can
Teach
control
them
that narrative.
respect, though. Teach them the right place and
Yes.
time. You can't just go to work and swear your butt off. You have to have the right
Yeah,
place and
no.
time. You can, but you have to do it in smart. Like, I'm not standing in front of the class dropping F bombs every
Hmm.
day. Like, you
If
don't
I
like,
like not even
ugh.
teaching, because sometimes like in teaching, like after school, you can be talking with your principal or your whatever. Like
Yeah,
in the middle of, and I was telling Justin beforehand, we were doing like my vision's getting bad, right? So I was talking about I'm reading this thing off the board in a teacher meeting. And I was like, does that say shitting? Never would I do that in front of students.
yeah.
I would just be like, oh, does that say shitting? Ooh, okay. Um, but like with my coworkers and my boss at my school, fine. But like any of my other jobs that weren't in a teaching field where we're all sort of in the trenches together, um, I would never just like walk up to my boss and be like, "You're a jackass," unless I was quitting that day.
Right.
Like,
Because you're gonna get fired.
or at least reprimanded. If nothing
But
else,
we
I'm
don't
gonna
do.
have to go talk to someone
Mm,
I don't want to talk to, and they're gonna say,
right.
"Hey, so you have a mark now, and you can't do like you're gonna lose out on something." Like, huh?
But like, it's not even the fact that they're doing it. It's not. I'm not even like, yeah. I was a kid. I remember it. I called people some names. I didn't call it to their face, a teacher especially.
No, never a
Like, I would
teacher.
call them names if they were my age. I would call
Yeah,
them names if they were my friend.
yeah,
I wouldn't call a teacher a jackass.
not to their face. I'm sure I
No.
probably said. Actually,
Oh, I
I
know
don't
for a fact I called
think
teachers names behind their backs.
probably in seventh and eighth grade I did. Like, actually, yeah, because we used to call Miss Baker Miss Baked. But like, the grand scheme of things, that's also minor. But I can't like. I'm trying to think of a time in high school that I would have been like so mad at a teacher that I called them a swear word, like as a name, and I can think of one singular time,
Mhm.
and I think even that was like stupid. I'm pretty sure I called them
Yeah,
dumb or
it's
stupid.
not like
You all have heard me. I'm not exactly like an innocent person here.
I just don't understand, like, and maybe you and I grew up in, like, communities that were a little more secluded or something,
I grew up in
because I
Phoenix.
like well, yeah, but, like, you were in Pembroke for most of your
Yeah, but
for
I
the
did. I went,
the
but I lived
formative
there. But
times,
I went to WA. That was a huge school, and
I guess.
we had kids call. It's crazy. We had kids who would call teachers names, right? Like they'd be like, "Oh, Miss So and Such, you're so stupid," whatever, and it'd be immediately great. Go to the dean or whatever he was called, the principal, and like
Right. There
they
was a
would.
repercussion.
There was a repercussion. They had to either go to ISS or they had, I mean, depending on what it was, they had to like write an apology letter. They had to stay there for the rest of class. They could like the phone calls to parents, letters at least, like something.
I was actively told not to call home for something
That's
recently.
insane to me. I
I
have a
can't go into I
list.
won't go into details because it is still fresh and I don't wanna lose my job, but
Okay,
I
text
was
me about it
actively
later.
told not to call home.
I
Like,
think you told
that's
me about
crazy.
this actually.
I was, yeah, I did.
And like I don't understand. Like I mean I get it, right? Like things happen.
Do I wanna call home? Absolutely not.
No,
I
I've
don't
heard
want
you
to
make a
have to call a
voicemail. I
parent.
don't want you to have to call parents either.
No,
But
I don't
like
want to.
as a teacher sometimes you do have to.
Yeah,
And it's uncomfortable every time. For everybody. It's uncomfortable for you the teacher to be like, "Hey, so and such's parents. So Johnny called me a jackass in class today." And it's uncomfortable for the parent to be receiving that call of like, "Fuck, why did my kid do that?" It's uncomfortable for the kid knowing it's going to happen. Except your kids can't have that happen because your school says no. I don't know. That
it's stupid. So, yeah, that's
that
point
grinds
1.
my gears.
Yeah, it grinds my gears too. Point 2 is, and this kinda leads into what we're actually gonna talk about today, our main topic.
I have one thing
Um,
before our main topic, but yes.
okay. I was just gonna say when you were talking about how teachers help students, I'm kind of like I'm kind of a jerk when it does happen. Because even the kids who have IEPs and 504s and that kind of stuff, I'm not going to leave them high and dry. I'm not. That's just not like one,
Hmm.
it's against the law, but two, I'm
You're a
not going to
decent
leave them high and
person.
dry. Yeah. When a student comes up to me and they're like, "I need help."
Hmm.
My first question is, "Have you tried?"
Yeah,
And that sounds kind of accusatory,
it's
which
not.
is kind of meant to be, but
Yeah,
I'm not
have you tried?
specifically directing it at you about that because I've watched most of these kids open their laptop, look at the first question, laugh with their friends, and then come over to me.
Yeah,
No, I'm not going to help you. I'm not. Not until you at least put in the effort to try. I will not work, and I've told my kids this, I will not work harder than
no,
you to get your grade.
no. I
I will
actually
not.
have already
Not in health.
passed this class.
Yeah, I'm
That's why I'm
actually
allowed to teach it.
agreed in health. So, like, maybe
It's
you
it's
get your shit
crazy.
together.
I'm actually allowed to teach it in the state of Maine because I passed it with really good scores. And you are 15. So have
Yeah.
you tried?
So maybe you try.
My
And it's
kids,
over stupid things. It's easy things. Like
yeah.
today, I had a kid, I'm literally teaching the lesson. And the lesson, and we're talking about an uncomfortable topic. We're talking about sexual health. Did you just dump that on you?
No, I'm in the. I just you saying I'm teaching the lesson, and I'm picturing is me up there teaching about math, and every hand goes up, and I'm like, if you
Mm-hmm.
just let me finish my
Mm-hmm.
fucking sentence.
Yeah. But I literally, so I was teaching about the reproductive systems. This is a freshman in high school.
Hmm.
I'm teaching about the reproductive systems.
Hmm.
I'm going along. I literally told them, pull out your this is before I started, pull out your laptops and work on this assignment. All you have to do is put the name or the term in
Hmm.
front of the definition. That's all you have to do.
That's it.
That's it. That's the extent of this assignment.
I bet if I were to look at that assignment, it's pretty clear
You
cut
could
without
do it
you even having
5 minutes.
to tell me. Like,
Oh,
you can.
for
Is it a click
sure.
and drag?
No, it's not a click and drag.
Oh,
But I have male definitions on one page, female definitions on the other. Third page is the words that you will use and split into male and female.
what were they confused on?
Great question. I'm going through the lesson, and this kid goes, whoopah, closes his laptop, makes a big scene out of it, because why not? Goes, I'm not doing this. I'm going to ask for your help later.
No.
I'm like, my guy, have you looked at the slideshow? Because you can have that up on your laptop. And he goes, yeah, I'm just too stupid. I can't do it.
I fucking hate when kids do that.
Part of me, at times, wants to be like, you know what? You are, because this is an easy assignment. But I can't
No, I
because
say it
I'm
in
a
my head.
teacher and I have to be respectful. And so what I do is I
Whoa,
say,
whoa, whoa.
well,
What's this respect I'm hearing about? I don't think
well,
we do that in these
teachers have to be
parts.
respectful, but students don't. But anyways, I say, well, you have the access to do it. You have the ability to do it.
Yeah.
If you try, then I will help you. That's what
You
I have
have
to say because that's
literally
the
every
nice
tool.
right. But it doesn't and then there were 10 to 15 minutes left of class.
Uh-huh.
Guess who didn't come ask me a question?
I'm betting that kid.
That
Yep.
kid. He didn't not even get out of his chair to come see me.
Yep.
You know what? He's probably going to get on that assignment.
Probably a
A
zero.
big fat. He'll get a 1 because he probably did one thing. And I can't give zeros unless they don't do anything.
So that's another topic for another
Let
day.
me as a teacher give a student a 0. If they didn't do anything, they don't deserve a 1.
Like I'm gonna be yeah, because you do the 1, 2, 3, 4 scale, right?
0, 1, 2, 3, 4.
0, 1, 2, 3,
If you're
4.
allowed.
So okay. So for those of you who don't know, the 1, 2, 3, 4 scale is really great sometimes. It is a proficiency based scale.
I
Um,
hate it.
yeah, it doesn't always work. It really works well for like writing assignments. It really works well for, and it works well on a rubric. To get like okay, so it's Jasmine. It's a standards based rubric based grading like model, and it went from the A B C D E F that well, not E, but A B C D F that everyone always knows because that was too subjective. And so we, as education people, started having to do rubrics, and rubrics are actually very helpful because they tell you, like, if you did this, you get this score. And then you take that percentage because you have the maximum except that 4 is exceeds. So they really only need to get 3s in order to meets, which is why the 1, 2, 3, 4 system doesn't work all the time.
Just
Yeah, no, it's super easy to do meets as long as like, and I'm assuming you give them the rubric for assignments, or at least make your expectations clear. Um,
so what I do for the projects and stuff,
mhm,
that's when I'll give them a rubric.
yeah,
For the assignments that are super
mhm,
self-explanatory and I don't make my assignments hard for that reason, I just give them it and have the instructions.
yeah. So you gave them the
And then I
rubric.
talk about it
Yeah.
and explain it and pull it up on the
So
board and say, "This is what you should do and how you should do it."
yeah,
And then I say, "Do you have any questions?"
and then they don't.
There's never any
No,
questions.
it's funny. There's actually never any when it's question time. It's only actually during independent work time, I've noticed. Um, and it seems to be dumb questions like, how long are we doing
What are we doing again?
yesterday, Justin? I give, you ready for this? Morning meeting. So what I do for my morning meeting is I go over all the schedule, right? And I say, all right, guys, let's do our schedule, then clicks, and then we're hopping to math. Super easy, right? We're in morning meeting. We're about to do clicks. At 8:30, we're going to start testing. Now, most of you have finished your state testing. Now you need to do individual class tests. I'm going to assign the state testing kids theirs, so just be patient, okay? Go through the rest of my schedule. All right, guys, back row, if you'll please go grab your iPads. No issue. They were listening. Perfect angels, one might say. They get their iPads. One of them raised their hand and said, "Is it test nav or are we going on Aimsweb?" And I said, "Same thing. Just go on test nav and then hit Aimsweb." A very appropriate question because I hadn't said that. Middle row, go get your iPads. They don't move. All right, middle row, you got to go get your iPads. No movement. Third time, middle row, go get your iPads. No movement. I said, "Awesome. Front row, go get your iPads." Middle row stands up. "Sit your bitch ass down. What are you up for? You
You
have not
should
been."
not be moving right now.
So then I was like, fuck it. I don't even care. Like, they're so little kids right now and they're going to get their stuff. So then one of the boys in the middle row, he goes, as he's grabbing his iPad, "How long are we doing this for?" Now I said
Longer that you keep friggin'
8:30
talking.
to 9:30. On the board, I bracketed off 8:30 to 9:30 and I wrote testing. On the third board where I have like what we're doing, it says testing 8:30 to 9:30 and it has a clock. So it shows the time that's happening and also a timer of how much time is left. So he sits down and Aimsweb wasn't working, which I was like, are you fucking kidding me? But then I said, all right, guys, so those of you who are not state testing, who are individual, and I named them, said them by name. I need you to go on IXL, do this assignment. I'm so sorry. Thank you for being patient. I'm trying to figure it out. Everybody but him did great. They just went on. They were a little pissed because they wanted the gold cards. I said, you're going to make it up. Don't stress. Just do this for now. I just got to call Mr. Curto. State testing kid, doing great. He's got his headphones on. He's whatever. Kid in the middle row. What are we doing? I said, ask a peer. I'm on the phone. Wasn't yet, but I called. So I heard him stand up and go, what are we doing? Brother, if you don't sit down. So then one of his peers next to him said, shh, he's testing about his friend in front of him. And I was like, love that for you. As I'm like, Ryan, Abe's web is not working and I have 9 very angry children.
Sorry, they're gonna riot.
They're gonna riot. And he helped me figure it out. It was just a Google Chrome issue. And anyway, we got that all figured out. Middle kid has done no IXL. He has done no testing. He has done nothing. Looks me dead in my eyes, Justin. Again, testing is on the board. I have said it out loud. It's on a whiteboard screen that I have pulled up with a clock and a timer. How long are we doing this for? And I said, I don't know, bud, but I feel like you have places around the room you can find that information. And the little girl next to him, who he has a big crush on, leans over and goes, were you listening in morning meeting? And he said, no, why would I do that? I just, child, you make me angry. And I love you. And I will continue to love you. But
I want to drop kick you.
there are days that I have thought about maybe I could just move to Bermuda. I'd be happier some days. No one would ask me any questions apart from, do you want another beverage? Yes, please. It's
Oh, I
anyway.
don't know if I do. I guess I will.
Yeah.
Anyways,
Yeah.
now that we've got our rant sesh out of the way,
How are you guys
we're the
doing?
assholes, and we want to see if these people are also the assholes. So we're gonna do
Mhm.
another round of everybody's favorite game.
Am I the
Am I
asshole?
the asshole? Am I the asshole? Da 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 da. That's me doing sound
Ba-da-ba-ba.
effects because good at
Ba-da-ba-ba-da-ba.
that.
Yeah.
So I have four. Jasmine, I don't know how many you have.
Ah, I have. I'll find four. I've got
You don't have
seven.
to have that many. I feel like, I
I've
mean,
got
we're already
seven.
30 minutes in, so seven.
Well,
Ooh,
because I kept clicking links just to like get them up, and I'll read
gotcha.
through them. Like some of them are much
Um,
longer than others.
so for anybody who's new here, we've done this a couple times. We go on to Reddit, we go, "Am I the asshole?" We type that in, and we find different stories, and then we judge people
Yeesh.
because we like to do that. And so yeah, I'm gonna read the first story because I have it up and it's ready to go, and I want to. So here we go. Am I the asshole? For leaving my friend's birthday dinner early after waiting over an hour for her.
You bitch. That was one of mine. Okay, go.
Just based off of that, no, you're not the asshole. Anyways, so it says my friend, 26 female, had a birthday dinner this weekend and invited a
Also.
group of us to a restaurant she picked.
Hmm,
She
hmm.
told everyone to be there at 7. I get there on time, a couple other people did too, and we waited and waited. By like 7:45, she still wasn't there. She kept texting stuff like almost there and parking is crazy, but she lives like 15 minutes away, and this is kind of a pattern for her being late to everything. At around 8, the server asks if we wanted to order, and I texted asking her if she was actually close because people were hungry. She said, just start with drinks. I'm coming." She didn't sorry, I lost my place.
Hmm.
She didn't show up until almost 8:20. At that point, I was irritated and I had skipped lunch. I had work early the next morning, and honestly, I felt rude sitting there taking up a table forever,
Yeah.
waiting on the birthday person. So when she finally got there and wanted everyone to quote unquote restart the night and wait before ordering so she could settle in, I said I couldn't stay much longer. She got upset and was like, "Seriously, you can't stay for my birthday dinner?" I told her we've already been here for an hour waiting. I ended up eating quickly and leaving before everyone else.
Hmm.
Later, she texted me saying I made her feel bad on her birthday and that I could have let it go for one night. I could have let it go for one night. I do get the birthdays are important, and maybe I should have just stayed and kept my mouth shut. But also, kind of felt of a kind of it also felt kind of disrespectful to have everyone sitting there for that long because she couldn't be on time again. Maybe I handled it wrong. I don't know.
I don't think she handled it wrong at all,
Mm-mm.
personally.
No,
Um,
she's not the asshole in that one. I clearly not the asshole.
she handled it a lot better. I say that I probably wouldn't have handled it, but she handled it a lot better than I would. Nah, I don't think I would have handled it differently. Um,
I probably just wouldn't have stayed that long. Like if
no.
you told me 7 o'clock and you didn't show up by like 7:30, I'm probably leaving,
Hmm. Now, it's
even if
one
it's your
thing.
birthday.
It's one thing if you're waiting in the waiting room for her, and like, I would feel like I would leave probably a little bit later. Like I'd give a little bit of the doubt, but sitting at a table waiting for that long, I'd be like, I'm ordering food. Like,
Yeah,
what do you
we
want,
went to
essentially?
Texas Roadhouse recently. You and I
Oh,
did.
yes, we did. That was good. We need to
We
go
didn't
back.
show up at the same exact time. We were close. Like I mean, we came from the same place, but it was like timing
Hmm.
wasn't exactly the same. But like we
Couple
waited
minutes, yeah.
for a little bit.
Hmm.
Had say I went home instead
Hmm.
of going to Texas Roadhouse and didn't tell you, and I said, "Hey, I'll be there in a couple minutes," and then 30 minutes went by, I would expect you to
That's
leave.
okay. They wouldn't have come to serve us anyway. It took a while for her to come to our table.
It did take a bit.
They also,
But
by
yeah,
the way, we never talked about this. They sat us at the smallest table.
yeah, it was like, and it was just a seat on each side,
And like, was it the
and it was
lift?
small. Like it was short. Like we were close.
Yeah, we could whisper.
We
Um,
could, and we did a
and we
couple
did.
times.
We did, yes. Yes, we did. But yeah, that was a very odd shaped table.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, not the asshole.
Nope, not the asshole.
All right. This one I've got mine is am I the asshole for lying to my wife about the length of my work trip to avoid a vacation with the in-laws? Yikes.
Complicated.
I'm gonna need a lot more details. All
Just
right.
based off of that, I'm gonna say yes.
All right. All right. So my 34 male wife, 31 female, and her family, my in-laws, had a 5-day long family vacation in July. It was at an Airbnb that everyone, wife, siblings, their spouses, parents stayed in. That's a lot of people. I happen to have, you know what? This actually, did I write this? um, I stayed in an Airbnb, not to like cut this off, but I stayed at an Airbnb with Connor's mom, his brother, brother's girlfriend, their 2 kids, Jada, Chevelle, and then Connor and I. It was big. It was like a giant, like up in Vermont, like it was a big thing for Santa's Village. And I'm glad
Yeah.
that we each had our own individual rooms, but like, weef, that was a lot. And the kitchen was tiny. Um, all right, so I happened to have work. I happened to have a work trip the same week as the vacation, but it was only 2 days long, so technically I could have gone the last few days of the vacation. Here's the thing about my wife's family. They're very rowdy. They yell to communicate, get drunk together often, have no respect for each other's privacy, and ask very invasive questions. For example, on our wedding day, my father in law asked if I had been practicing my moves for the wedding night and if I needed any advice. Sorry.
Advice, my man's. You're talking about your daughter.
Yeah. I was appalled. I've told my wife before that sometimes her family can be too rowdy for me, but she gets defensive and says I should accept her family for who they are. There have been times when I've asked my wife if I can skip family reunions and birthday parties, but she gets very mad at me and says it would be super rude to avoid her family. So, when I found out that my out of state work trip was the same week as the family vacation, I decided to fib to my wife a bit. I told my wife that my work trip was 4 days long and that it wouldn't make sense for me to travel to the Airbnb to stay for only one day. My wife agreed to this. So, I went on the work trip and enjoyed a few days of peace and quiet at our house while my wife enjoyed the vacation with her family. A few weeks go by, I'm having some coworkers over for drinks. My wife comes home from work early and started chatting with my coworkers. She told them about the wonderful vacation she had with her family a few weeks ago, and my coworkers asked me why I didn't join. I told them that the vacation was during our work trip. My coworkers said our work trip was only 2 days long. Why didn't I catch the end of the family vacation? The look on my wife's face was murderous. After my coworkers left, my wife started yelling at me, saying I was the major asshole. She called her parents and they sent me angry messages saying they couldn't believe I lied to her about uh, lied to her to avoid a vacation with them. Am I the asshole for lying to my wife about the length of my work trip, even though I know she wouldn't allow me to skip it? Um,
Yes. A tentative yes.
I think yes, you're the asshole because you should be able to be honest with your partner. Also, your
Mm,
wife is an asshole for not like talking to you about it and just being mad. Also, her
yeah.
dad is weird.
Her dad is super weird.
I too would not uh I too would not want to stay there. I'm reading some of the comments. Most people are stuck on the lying part. However, I can't get past that the father offered to give advice on how to fuck his daughter. Sorry, just reading without thinking. My bad. Um, I can see why people are voting you're the asshole or everybody sucks here, but I can only imagine how unpleasant it is to have your wife ride your ass or be told how to ride hers. Yeah, no, I mean, I can kind of see both points of view. Like I can see why it's not okay to lie to your partner about that kind of
No.
stuff.
Right.
And if you're at that point, also divorce. Like if you're at that point where you can't stand to be around your partner for that kind of thing, like goodbye.
I
And
mean,
if
the other thought
yeah.
process is that if you are lying about that, that you're, especially in like a situation where you have other people around, you're always gonna have to hold that story.
Yeah.
So like this story was bound to come out. Like
Mhm.
like
Yeah.
so they didn't think it through
Yeah, no.
at all.
I'm confused.
I don't know.
Why Why would you bring your coworkers over for drinks after that? Your only problem here was not giving your coworkers the heads up before they came to your house. I can't lie and say that I wouldn't have fibbed to avoid seeing my in-laws if you're as they described. Yeah? All right. Well, there we go.
Mm.
Everyone sucks.
Yeah, everyone sucks in that one.
Also, your coworkers, they didn't have your back, man.
Not your friend.
Not your friends.
All
All
right,
right.
I have one. It says, Am I the asshole for honking at a car in a parking garage?
Oh, I have a honk one, and I was like, you have to be shitting me. Continue.
Hi all, long time lurker, first time poster here. Don't love the start, I'm gonna be honest.
Okay.
Uh, I had this encounter this morning, and I've been thinking all morning about it and wanted to see if I was the asshole. So I, 20s female, uh, work in a major U.S. downtown, and the park in the and stroke, and park in a parking garage.
Okay.
The entrance is on the street level, but immediately goes down a ramp to B1 where the ticket machine is. This morning, there's a car stopped at the base of the ramp. This is the only way into the garage, and I cannot reverse up the ramp. I wait a few seconds and give a little tap on my horn, and the other car moved forward a few feet and then stopped again. I waited a few more seconds, tap on the horn again, a little longer, and the other car moves a few feet and stops again. This repeats one more time, only. Oh, nope. It repeats one more time. On the fourth time, I moved past the horn tap and into a full honk, and the car fully pulls all the way forward, gets a ticket, and peels out into the garage, nearly striking someone leaving their car. It seems it seemed really they seemed really angry. I know it wasn't right of them to block the entrance, but I am regretting honking at them and wondering if I'm the asshole.
No. Fuck you. Don't block my entrance. I
I would
also
say no too.
I
What
hate
I would
parking
add
garages.
is that, and I don't like using a horn. I hate the
No.
sound of it. It makes me
I don't
like
like using the horn.
anxious. But if the horns weren't meant to be used, they wouldn't
Mhm.
be in a vehicle.
Mhm. Mhm.
And you can think of it as I'm aggressively honking this, or you can think of it as I'm trying to get their attention
Mhm.
because technically that could be both. It's all intent at that point.
Well,
I
and I
still
mean,
don't think you're the asshole for
I
this.
don't
I
like
think
using the
this
horn,
is
but that
kind of
is what a horn like. It's 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 meant to be loud and obnoxious, you know?
right. It's to
If
get attention.
you don't want to be beeped at, maybe don't block the thing.
Exactly.
Mhm.
So no, not asshole, in my opinion.
All right. Am I the asshole for telling my daughter-in-law to stop crying after she got called fat on the phone?
Ooh.
This was 8 hours ago, by the way. So this is
Ooh.
fresh. No one has officially voted yet.
Oh, good. We get to be the first.
My daughter in law is a very sensitive soul, to put it lightly. Not a good start for you, my friend. She
No.
will end up in tears at basically any pushback or slightly rude remark. It can be extremely frustrating because anything brought up will end with her in tears and you looking like a huge asshole. One example, she has a habit of not taking off her shoes before going into people's homes. About a year ago, she was tracking mud into my home and I told her to take off her shoes. She started crying because my tone was quote unquote too much. I didn't yell or anything. My daughter was there and agreed I wasn't mean when I said to take off her shoes. It was a whole thing, and my son gave me a whole lecture about how I can't say things like that. I just told her to take off her shoes. She isn't a quiet crier either. It's loud, and everyone notices the moment it happens. Then everyone needs to comfort her, and you're the dick for making her cry. There are more examples of there are more examples of this, and the whole family has had to deal with it. The issue was this weekend to get The issue was this weekend get together for my other daughter-in-law's daughter's birthday. The birthday was going well and there were a lot of young kids. One of the kids, he is 4, almost 5, can be quite rude. His parents are working on it, but he doesn't have a filter. Mm. During the event, when she was helping pass out the food, he called her fat. The parents grabbed him and she started crying. It was getting loud, so I pulled her off the side and told her to stop. I didn't want her to cause a scene at a 7-year-old's birthday. It was a little kid's remark and told her not to come out of the room until she is composed. She ended up going to the car, didn't come back to the party. My son and I got into an argument. My point is she's a grown adult and she's crying over someone saying something mean. He's telling me to apologize, but at this point, I'm not.
Mm,
I don't
yeah.
know. Because
I have my answer.
I think I would need to hear how the person's tone is. Because if it's like, hey, could you take off your shoes? You're tracking mud. And she starts crying, it's like, okay,
Yeah.
that's a little much. But if it's like, oh, take off your shoe, like that, and I also don't know that I don't know. It's hard for me.
Off of the specific question of am I the asshole for telling my whatever,
Yeah.
um, I'm gonna say yes, you are. But it's with the caveat of the way that they wrote it, it sounds like they are very harsh toned. Like it sounds like they're
Yes.
very like concise and can be taken as harsh. And for some people, harsh is hard.
Yeah. I think harsh is hard is fine. My like hemming and hawing is because you are a grown adult
Hmm.
and at some point you have to like step off into a different room. Like it's not everyone else's job to comfort you unless she came out and she was like, hey bitch, take off your shoes, you ugly cow. Now that, sure, everyone should be
Right.
like, oh my god, hey, are you good? But just I don't know, the everyone having to comfort her and the
But also the
son.
way that he said that like the way he told her that she needs to compose herself, come out of here when you're composed, like there are nicer ways to say like the more than just the composure part. But like there's nicer ways to say, "Hey, like
This is a
it's a
kid's
kid.
birthday.
It's a kid's birthday. It's not like, it's a kid.
It's not that
We know
deep.
that he's kind of a butthead sometimes." Like
Yeah.
so
See,
I'm with you're the asshole, but you're barely the asshole.
I'm saying not the asshole.
Fair.
Yeah. All right, cool. Your turn.
What do we have for time?
Never mind.
I
We
was
have
gonna
no
say
time.
like 50. Is that where we're at?
52.
52.
What were the other titles that you had?
I have one that is am I the asshole for refusing to take an elective exam and escalating the situation in a school district?
Ooh, okay.
That one's a longer one, so I wasn't gonna read that one.
Yeah.
Then I have another one that's am I the asshole for for staring at someone on the street car?
Okay. Um, I have am I the asshole for taking my girlfriend's lasagna when she said I could? Am I the asshole for singing a song to my wife at our wedding and making her angry? This one is like less than 4 sentences. Can I read it real quick? Okay. Um, I just got married last week. My wife and I are both in our 30s. I'm Mexican, she's American. We both grew up in the US, and both our families know both languages. My wife played every bit of the wedding and was very controlling and nervous bride, but all right, I get she was stressed. During the reception, I went to the band and asked them to play a song for me to sing to my new wife. Te Amare by Miguel Bos. It was a song from our first date in a really bad Mexican restaurant, so it became a long standing joke between us. That's adorable.
Yeah.
The guests really loved the song. My mother in law cried, told me it was beautiful, but my bride seemed upset. I asked her what's wrong. She said, I'm an asshole for taking the spotlight to enforce my ethnicity and not just let the band sing our song for us.
Ooh.
Ugh.
I hope your papers weren't
Yikes.
signed yet, my friend. That's
Yikes.
rough. No, you're not the asshole.
No. A couple, well, so I forgot what the question was at first, and a bunch of people were saying not the asshole, and I was like, no, she's the asshole. Nope. Nope. It's am I the asshole,
E-
Jasmine?
Yes, he. Hmm.
I was gonna say this, but you already did. It seems like a pretty racist reaction. Yeah. Yeah. Also,
Especially if it's like it's cute. It's your song. Like,
right. It's like if it had been like a song that you and your ex really liked,
yeah,
sure. That'd be
yeah.
weird and uncomfortable. But this was a core memory of your relationship together. That's adorable.
And you're
You're
putting yourself out there to do that.
in
Like,
front of all your guests. Like it's not like you just had them play it. You sang that for her. That's so precious. Anyway, people suck, man.
people do suck.
Where can they find you?
Anyways, oh, I was gonna ask you.
Oh, well, I'm asking you.
No, where can they find you?
Oh, can they find you?
They can't.
They can find Justin at TSK1239 or the Soccer King 1239 on all of his socials. Good luck. Happy hunting. Okay, but I didn't say it like that. You can also find the show at No Impulse Control on socials. Um, please, please, please go give some love to the new Dungeons and Dragons segment of our podcast. Justin's just came out 2 weeks ago. Mine just came out this past Wednesday. We did not talk about that, but it just came out this past Wednesday. So go show them some love, share, all that good stuff. You can find me over at Asminsta1721 on all the things. Und
The stories are
bis
good,
they
by
are
the
good,
way.
and they're getting real into it. I'm really loving this little groupings that we get.
I think when school ends, I would like to bump to
Yeah,
every
we
other
should
week.
definitely talk about doing that. Yep, I agree. All right.
But anyways,
With
we'll
that,
see you in the next one. Peace out.
bye.